I put out a video a few weeks ago where I reviewed ECW's December to Dismember, which is considered one of the worst wrestling pay-per-views of all time. After seeing such positive feedback and how much you guys liked that video, I decided to turn it into a series where now I'm going to go back, review old wrestling pay-per-views, give my thoughts, opinions, rate the matches, and all that stuff. And with all of that being said, today I'm going to review an event that some people consider to be the greatest WrestleMania of all time, and that is WrestleMania 17. A lot of people requested this, so I'm happy I was able to watch it, put this video together for you guys. But before we jump into it, please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on those notification bells so when more videos like this and other daily wrestling content comes out, you can watch those videos as soon as they drop. Thank you all for being here. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and let's talk about what some consider to be the greatest WrestleMania of all time. I will say this was my first time watching WrestleMania 17 from start to finish. There are a few matches that I have watched in the past as standalones, but never watched the pay-per-view in full. And again, a lot of people consider this to be the greatest WrestleMania of all time. So the question I was looking to answer before jumping into this pay-per-view was, is this the greatest WrestleMania of all time? That's the question I was looking to answer. And after watching this card, I do have an answer to it, but we'll get to it at the end. Opening WrestleMania 17, we have Chris Jericho defending his Intercontinental Championship against the Commissioner, William Regal. It was a fine back and forth match. Regal being the heel, he was trying to find ways to win, like removing the turnbuckle and all that stuff. He had one move off the top rope where he did like an underhook suplex to Jericho, and I wasn't expecting it. It was crazy to see happen, and it looked like it hurt like a motherfucker. As the match was going on, Jericho used the exposed turnbuckle against Regal, hit a bulldog, a suplex, a lion salt, and then the match was over. So the match itself was fine, like I mentioned. It just seemed very sudden and anticlimactic. And I know the lion salt was a move that Chris Jericho used and still does use, and at one point was like a finisher. But seeing him use it as a way to finish a match at WrestleMania was like, oh, that's not as good as the Code Breaker, or that's not as good as the Wall of Jericho. Maybe that's why it felt a little anticlimactic to me. But overall, there was good storytelling within the match. Regal was trying to cheat the whole time. It backfired on him. Babyface Jericho got the win. The crowd loved him. It could have been longer, but I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I don't think the match is bad, but it's not one that I'm probably going to go back and rewatch anytime soon. It was good, but it could have been better. Next up, we have a good old 6-man tag team match between Taz and the APA versus Right to Censor. So Taz, Bradshaw, Farouk taking on Bull McCannon, The Good Father, and Val Venus. And yeah, the match was a match. The biggest takeaway for me was that if I ever got into a bar fight, I would want Taz and APA to back me up, because if they were there by my side, I am all good. There was no one touching me. The match wasn't even 5 minutes long. Bradshaw came in, cleaned house, got the win for his team. He's from Texas, so we got the hometown pop. It was a match. I didn't have super high expectations for it, so I wasn't let down by any means. Wasn't even a 5-minute match, like I said, so I gave it a 3 out of 10. There's nothing special about this. It's just a filler match. Now, the complete opposite of a filler match. We have Raven versus Kane versus The Big Show for the Hardcore Championship, and this, guys, may have been my favorite match of the night. This match was all over the place. It was in the ring, in the crowd, backstage, on the entrance stage. It was such a blast. Once Raven came down to the ring with a shopping cart and fucking plants in the shopping cart, I knew this match was going to be so wild. What was confusing to me, and I get it's the hardcore title, so like things are weird, guys can show up, fight whenever they want, but it's a triple threat match. The match starts with Kane and Raven in the ring, and then like 5 seconds in, like the bell rings, then the Big Show's music hits. I was confused why the Big Show just didn't come out with everyone else and why they waited another 5 to 10 seconds. It was super confusing, but also kind of funny. And I was just like, okay, let's just keep going here. All 3 men are fighting through the crowd right away. And when I say they were in the crowd, they were in the crowd. And watching old wrestling pay-per-views of wrestlers going through the crowd, like with the cameramen and stuff, it's so crazy because there was like very little security back then, and like they're fighting for their lives. Like the cameraman was fighting for his life, just trying to get a good shot with the camera. It really was insane, especially at like a big event like WrestleMania that all these guys that these wrestlers are just walking through the crowd, not worrying about a thing. I mean, there were just so many good spots. Raven went through fucking glass. Kane went through a door. Kane and Big Show both went through a fucking wall together. Kane was driving a golf cart around with the ref in the back trying to go after Raven and Big Show. And that was so funny to me. They used everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything in their sights to hurt each other. You name it, they used it. They legit did an entire loop around the arena and they came back from through the entrance to the top of the stage. And the ending was so bonkers. So the Big Show lifted Raven up. Kane kicked Big Show in the face, and that knocked him and Raven off the stage, which is like, oh, that's fucking crazy. And then out of nowhere, Kane leaps for an elbow drop, covers the Big Show, and the ref, who is off the stage at this point, runs around and like starts tapping on just another object completely to get the 3 count. Wasn't even anywhere near the Big Show and Kane. Counts a 3. Kane is the new hardcore champion, and man, I am a sucker. I am a sucker for these types of matches, and this one delivered. I had an absolute blast watching this, and Kane winning just felt right. He looked so good in this match, even though he's not like, you think of the hardcore championship, I don't think of Kane, but this match was so fun. And the hardcore championship was, it's just a gimmick belt. I don't know how long Kane held the belt for. I can imagine it could have been a day, it could have been a week, it could have been a year. I don't fucking know. But this match was super fun. I know for a fact if I was around, if I was watching like Attitude Era Wrestling, if I was born 10 years earlier, I would have been the biggest hardcore title fan. I would have loved all those matches. I would have loved the Attitude Era aspect, all that shit. But this was an easy 8 out of 10 for me. I could have put it higher, but I'm going to give it an 8. Now we have Test defending his European Championship against Eddie Guerrero, excuse me. Eddie walks down to the ring, and I know it's a joke. I know it's a bit and everything, but the similarities, it's just insane. I couldn't believe. I was like, that's Dom's father right there. It's insane how similar they look. But truthfully, this match was okay. It didn't really do anything for me. I had higher expectations because it's Eddie Guerrero in this match. The match wasn't bad, it wasn't good, but like it didn't blow my mind. I'm never going to go back and watch this match probably. I think this match was a true testament to who Eddie was. He stayed true to his name and cheated to win because he had Perry Saturn helping him out, Dean Malenko helping him out. Test was trying to fight off everyone, didn't work out for him. Eddie gets the win because he hit Test with the belt after. It's not that I didn't like the match, it's just I wouldn't watch it again. And it's Eddie. I don't know. You just expect more from Eddie. So I'm giving this match a 5.5 out of 10. I wish I could give it a higher rating. I really do, for the sake of Eddie and, Test as well. RIP to both of them, but gonna give it a 5.5. Now, talk about having high expectations and those expectations not being met. Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit. So I want to make this very clear. This was a great match. This was a very, 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 very good match, but I came into this match with very high expectations. My biggest issue with this match is that it was too short. Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit are two of the greatest technical wrestlers of all time, and they showcased that this match, but it wasn't long enough. It felt like the match ended when they were about to hit another gear. The match felt like it ended prematurely. I don't know if it was cut for time, they didn't have enough time, whatever the issue was, but if they let this match go on for another 5 minutes, not even 10, just like 5 to 7 minutes, this could have been match of the night for me. Both men were using submissions and trying to get roll-ups throughout the entire thing. So Kurt Angle getting a roll-up victory, I think, made sense in this case. But again, the match just didn't match my expectations. It was still very good. Like, these two have unbelievable chemistry. This just felt like a small percent of what they actually could do. And I do bet that they have other matches where it would match my expectations. But this one at WrestleMania didn't. I'm gonna give this match a 7.5 out of 10 because it was still very good, and it was like 15 minutes long, which is a good length of time. But Kurt and Benoit deserve more time. It seemed like they were hitting that extra gear towards the end when the match did finish. I'm gonna give it 7.5. I'm sure they have, something closer, 10 out of 10, but here at WrestleMania, only 7.5. Next up, we have Chyna defeating Ivory to win the Women's Championship. This was a very short match. I don't really have many thoughts here. I think this was only like a 2-minute match. Ivory tried her damn best to stay into this, but it really didn't work. Chyna hit a power bomb and then lifted Ivory's head after a 2 count. She wanted to keep going. She lifted her up, dropped her on her stomach. Boom. 1, 2, 3, new champ. This was a squash match. I mean, I'm giving it 1.5 out of 10. Unfortunately, I can't put it any higher than that. Chyna was very much so ahead of her time. If she was around today, she would be fucking awesome. But back then, there was no one on her level. So this is a 1.5 out of 10. Right person won. So I guess that's worth something, but I can't go higher than that. Shane McMahon versus Vince McMahon may have been the best storytelling match I've seen in my life, because this was, I mean, it didn't even seem like a wrestling match. It was just a lot of different shit going on, family drama, you can say. But one thing I do want to point out, and I didn't know this, was Vince McMahon bought WCW a week before WrestleMania 17. That's nuts. I was watching the video package and seeing Shane McMahon saying, I bought WCW and all that. I didn't know that was a prominent part of this story or anything like that. And again, I didn't know they bought WCW a week before their biggest show of the year. That's crazy. Like I said, this really was just a storytelling match. There was obviously wrestling involved early on. Shane McMahon was beating the shit out of his father with some kendo sticks. He must have loved that. He must have loved every second of beating the shit out of his dad. Shane crashes through the Spanish announce table trying to hit an elbow drop. Stephanie pulls McMahon out of the way. And while Shane is down, Trish pushes Linda down to the ring in her wheelchair. Linda is not, she's in a vegetative state or whatever the fuck. She's not talking. She's has a blank stare, all that shit. Trish Stratus brings Linda down to ringside so she can watch Vince and Shane fight each other. Trish slaps Vince, turning on him, and then Mick Foley tries to get involved. Stephanie slaps him, which I should have pointed out. Mick Foley was the special guest referee for this match. It was a street fight. Mick Foley tries to wheel Linda McMahon away, and Vince McMahon takes a steel chair and starts hitting Mick Foley with it. This guy's just trying to officiate a match. He's trying to get this poor woman out of the way, and he's getting the shit beat out of him with the chair. I thought that was so funny. So we're back in the ring. Vince sets up Linda in the corner so she can watch Vince McMahon beat the shit out of Shane with some trash cans. And as he's standing over Shane, Linda stands up, kicks Vince in the balls. He gets attacked by Linda, Mick Foley, and then Shane hits a coast to coast with a trash can, beats his own father. This was a crazy fucking match. I mean, it was really like half of it was wrestling and the other half was just a story being told, which I respect. I'm giving this a 7 out of 10. In the grand scheme of things, like on a wrestling standpoint, it wasn't a great wrestling match. It was a great sports entertainment match. The crowd went crazy for Linda. Karma's a bitch. Vince McMahon got what was coming to him. I had fun watching this. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. The Dudley Boys versus the Hardy Boys versus Edge and Christian is one of the greatest wrestling matches of all time. Not just one of the greatest WrestleMania matches. This is one of the greatest matches of all time. If there was one match that I had to recommend to a non-wrestling fan, it would be this one. People ask me why I'm a Jeff Hardy fan. Why is Jeff Hardy your favorite wrestler of all time? Guys, I'll send you the link to this match. This is why. What the fuck? This match is fucking crazy. It is non-stop fun. Action. Big spot after big spot after big spot. All 6 men risked their lives for this match. They risked their lives to create a match that will stand the test of time and entertain us like nothing else. When this match was over and they panned around the ring, in the ring, all the destruction, you would have thought 6 men lost their lives in that last 20 minutes. It is one of the craziest, entertaining, fun matches you will ever see. And man, one of the greatest spots of all time, Jeff Hardy taking the spear, hanging from the top, holding onto the belt. Edge spears him in midair. But the craziest thing about that spot is that right before, Jeff Hardy jumped off of what I assume is a 20-foot ladder to Swanton. It was 2 guys. I forget which 2 it was. I think it was Rhino and then maybe Spike. I think it was Rhino and Spike Dudley, actually. But he Swantons both of those off a ladder through 2 tables, gets up, and then takes that like 2 minutes later. Jeff Hardy is a fucking maniac, and I love him. Everything about this match is perfect to me. It is genuinely probably my favorite match of all time. You could pick 6 other amazing, talented, high-flying wrestlers, whoever you want, and tell them recreate that, and they never, ever, ever could. No one could recreate the magic that those 6 men made in that ring that night. And there's other TLC matches that they had, but this one is, it's a masterpiece. As you can tell, this was a 10 out of 10 for me. Edge and Christian do win the tag team championships at the end. The only somewhat negative thing that I would say, and it's really not even negative, is how involved Rhino, Spike, and Lita were. More specifically Rhino, because he did help Edge and Christian win at the end. But the match, it's fine. It's totally fine. Rhino, he got involved. It's all good. This has to be one of the greatest, or at the very least, most memorable WrestleMania match of all time. Following that up, we had a Gimmick Battle Royal. Iron Sheik won it. There was like 19, 20 people in this match, including a Bushwhacker Luke, the Gobbledygooker, One Man Gang, Sergeant Slaughter, Doink the Clown, Brother Love was in there, Repo Man, Tugboat, Iron Sheik, like I mentioned, Bushwhacker Butch, Jim Cornette was in there, Michael Hayes. Yeah, this was just a filler, and I don't even know why this was a filler. There was no need for it. 0 point to the match. Probably the fastest and worst battle royal I've ever seen. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 0 out of 10. Second to last match, we have Triple H going up against The Undertaker. And what I found out was this match was kind of put together in like the few weeks prior to this. Like both men needed a match. They put them together. And hey, it was pretty damn good. As good as this match was, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I will tell you that now. As good as this was, it is the worst out of their 3 matches, which kind of is crazy to think about. So they're going back and forth. It's a typical normal match. But once the ref goes out, shit hits the fan. Both men are like, fuck this. Fuck the ring. We are going into the crowd. Again, we are going into the crowd. They get to this like equipment area where they climb something so a little bit elevated. Undertaker and Triple H are fighting, throwing punches back and forth. Undertaker takes Triple H, lifts him up, and choke slams him off of the platform. No one knew where Triple H went. I was like, did he just send him to hell? The way he chokeslammed Triple H and then Triple H just disappeared off the TV screen, I was like, did he kill him? Like, what is happening here? It was such a crazy spot. They get back into the ring and the referee is still dead. Like, they're actively like in the ring back to fighting each other and he's still knocked out. He finally gets up when Undertaker goes to hit Triple H with the last ride. Triple H hits Undertaker with the sledgehammer. 1, 2, kick out. One of the closest kickouts. If I was watching it live at the time, and I obviously knew Undertaker was winning this match because of the streak. If there wasn't anything like that going on and there was no streak, whatever, I would have thought that Triple H would have won there because that was a fucking very close call. Undertaker's bleeding now, gets pushed into the corner by Triple H and hits a last ride out of nowhere for the win. I thought this match was really, really fun. Obviously, the fun started when the ref went down. And it really was like, it was a singles match that was a street fight that they just had to get the ref out of the way to turn it into one. It was weird seeing The Undertaker finish a match with something that wasn't a tombstone, but the last ride is Undertaker delivers one of the most devastating power bombs ever. Just the height that he lifts them up at and how much it looks like it hurts. I'll take the last ride as a finish. It was good here. And again, it's crazy because this was the worst of their 3 matches, but this match was still really good. All right, last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, let's buckle into this one. This was a journey. The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, the main event of WrestleMania 17 for the WWF Championship. No disqualification match. You want to talk about getting people hyped up for this match? The video package, the greatest video package of all time. It's my way or the highway. Oh my God, they don't make them like they used to. So I just want to have a few notes here. I'm just going to be rambling here, whatever. This match, all I can think about was how this is how rivals should be fighting. This was a fight. This was nothing. There was no sugarcoating. There was no holding back. Austin and Rock wanted to hurt each other. They wanted to win, but they wanted to hurt each other on the way to winning. It's just compared to nowadays, I said it earlier, they just don't do it like they used to, I guess. One other thing I want to point out before we get into the nitty gritty of the match and everything like that is JR mentioned at one point that The Rock was 28 at the time. And it really did upset me thinking about how The Rock dipped for Hollywood so early in his career and how young he was. And like, if he stayed in WWE throughout, the years that he left, I'm not saying he had to stay for another 10, 15 years, but if he stayed another 5, maybe 10 years or whatever, The Rock would undeniably be the greatest wrestler of all time. I like right now, it's like I think him and Austin are 1A, 1B type of thing. I think The Rock is on most people's Mount Rushmores or should be on most people's Mount Rushmores. But if he never left at his young age and he stuck around and he continued to accomplish more and more and more, I have a hard time believing anyone would be put ahead of him on the greatest of all time list. Anyways, this match was personal. Both these guys were hitting each other. Both these guys were fighting, and both these guys were bloody. The Rock hit Stone Cold with a stunner. Stone Cold kicks out, and after he kicks out, Mr. McMahon walks down to the ring, and it was kind of funny seeing him walking down to the ring in his state after getting the shit kicked out of him by his son and wife, but Vince McMahon shows up. After The Rock hits the people's elbow on Stone Cold, Vince McMahon stops it, and then Stone Cold gets the upper hand. He tells Miss McMahon to hit The Rock with a chair. So then Vince McMahon comes in, hits The Rock with the chair, and everybody, including myself and especially JR, are confused of like, what are we watching right now? Like, Vince just came down and now they're working together? Like, what's happening right now? After McMahon hit The Rock with the chair, it is just near fall after near fall after near fall now because The Rock is getting hit with stunners. And he had one of the best stunner cells of all time. Then he gets hit in the head with a chair that Mr. McMahon gave to Stone Cold. The Rock does kick out, which he did kick out of maybe a few more times than he had to. I don't know if he had to do all of that, but Austin gets the chair, just beats The Rock down with it, smashing the chair against The Rock. He is not holding back. He is just going ape shit crazy. Pins The Rock. We have a new WWF champion. JR is about to have a stroke. JR could not believe what he was watching. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Watching Stone Cold and Vince shake hands after all of that, one of the craziest visuals that you will ever see, never mind at the very end, at the end of one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time. And I mean, this happening is one of the reasons why it is one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time. And the whole thing was just confusing, but like in a good way. Like that's what it was supposed to be. I'm thinking to myself, what did I just witness? Are they aligned together now? Why did Vince just randomly come down and start helping Steve Austin? Why did Steve Austin accept that help? I know he wanted to do anything he could to beat The Rock and win the championship, but aligning with the boss that you've had arguably the greatest rivalry with of all time, that is pretty fucking shocking. I was thinking the whole time, like, why they did all these little things leading up to the big moment of Vince handing Stone Cold the chair and Stone Cold hitting The Rock with it. But the added confusion made the moment even bigger and more legendary because that's how we were supposed to feel. We were supposed to be confused and angered and questioning everything that happened. I mean, this was line of the night. I thought I knew that man. I thought I knew Steve Austin. I was there in the hospital when he came out of surgery. I thought I knew him. I thought he would never, ever. JR was in tears. Paul Heyman said Stone Cold sold his soul to the boss. But yeah, this was, it lived up to the expectations. This was the best. This was one of the best, if not the best WrestleMania main event I have personally ever seen. The two biggest stars of all time laying it out, putting it all on the line, killing each other. This was a blood feud. This is how, again, two rivals should fight. This was two of the best wrestlers of all time at their peak, and it showed. This was a 10 out of 10 match, and this is a big reason why people consider WrestleMania 17 the greatest WrestleMania of all time. That was the question we were looking to answer. Is WrestleMania 17 the greatest WrestleMania of all time? It just might be. I mean, I have to go back and I'd have to go and watch old WrestleManias from start to finish, ones I have never seen before, at least I've seen in entirety. But I mean, out of all the ones that I have seen, this is one of the most memorable, best WrestleManias ever. You had a few duds in there. You had a few matches that I felt like could have gone longer, like Kurt and Benoit. I expected more from Eddie, but the highs outweighed the lows heavily. There were two matches on this card that you can consider two of the greatest matches of all time. There were some matches that were just fun as fuck and super cool to watch, like Triple H and Undertaker, the Hardcore Championship match. He had one of the best storytelling / sports entertaining matches of all time between the two McMahons, and obviously one of the biggest swerves and heel turns in wrestling history to close out the show. I do think that this event, this WrestleMania, was a 10 out of 10. If you tell me in the comments that this is the greatest WrestleMania of all time, you will not get any arguments from me. I'll just put it that way. Before I do end this, I do want to tell you guys what I thought was the best, the worst, and my favorite match of the night. I do think the best was the TLC II match. The worst was the Gimmick Battle Royal because that just was super unnecessary. And my favorite match was the Hardcore Championship match. I can't believe I've never seen that match before. I loved it so much. I'm going to have to go back and watch like all old Hardcore Championship matches because I am a sucker for those matches and I would have been the biggest Hardcore Championship fan back in the day. So there you have it. That is my review of WrestleMania 17, arguably the greatest WrestleMania of all time. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video, if there are other wrestling pay-per-views you would like to see me review, go over, rate. Please let me know below. I really do enjoy like watching old events and doing these types of videos. So I'd love to keep them going. I appreciate you all for watching, making it to this point. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Remember to turn those notification bells on. If you haven't already, turn them on now. So when this video and other videos come out, you can watch them ASAP. Thank you all for being here. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you when I see you. Peace out.